All right, we're continuing on with getting the aluminum steering components in the XRAY XB2. I've got the 2025 edition. I've only run it a few times, and I kind of chuckled when XRAY announced the 26 would be coming out. I know they do the annual releases. I didn't anticipate that they would have a lot of updates on the 26, and it looks like, aside from the new chassis, pretty minor upgrades. Although I do like the idea that they're including the titanium turnbuckles and the titanium shock standoffs. Really liking that. But anyway, I'm not going to buy that. Not anytime soon anyway. So these are the Revolution design aluminum steering components here. The finish on these is fantastic. Black anodized with a kind of chamfering around the edge. Looks really great. Consistent with the other parts that I had on the Stadium truck. I'll include a link to the info on these, but here's the part numbers if you want them. The top one is the bell crank set, and the bottom one here is the steering plate. So put those in the trash. I did weigh the complete set here with the bearings in on the composite parts, and it was 12 grams. So I'm just curious to see what that will look like once we move everything over to aluminum. And I try to do this exactly one at a time. There are some small shims in here and small bearings, and I just want to make sure that I'm being careful. All right, so one bearing in the bottom, and then there's a shim that goes in the middle, bearing that goes on top, and then there is a shim on the top bearing. Grab some thread lock here, and the screw will come up from the bottom, so I'm going to put that through right now. So I'm getting right through both of those, the spacers and the shim, and we're just going to throw a tiny little drop of thread lock on here. I did buy this cheap thread lock on Amazon, and I gotta say, it works really well. All right, we're gonna make sure that our orientation is correct here. So the tabs on the steering plate up and out, screw up through the bottom, and then this will screw into the first hole in the bell crank. One of the things that I really do like about doing the aluminum steering components is that you don't end up with screws that are loosening up. I found that on all my kits, that if I changed over the steering components and put some thread lock on, I didn't worry about screws that would be loosening up just a little bit. And we want to make sure that that is nice and loose, not, you know, snug, but moves freely. So that's that side right there. And we'll do the other side here. Bearing in the bottom, shim in the middle, bearing on top, spacer on top, screw through the bottom, just a little gob of thread lock, and then into the first hole on the crank. in. Make sure you have free motion, no problem. It's nice and snug, but also moves freely. And then we'll just move those bearings over. And the fit, as you could see from the bearings that I put in the steering plate, is perfect. And the fit for the bearings and the bell cranks are perfect. So no worries there about holes being too small or too big. I've got this in just a tad crooked, so that's giving me a little trouble here. There we go. All right, looks great. So with everything on there, that's what it looks like. I'm gonna go throw that on the scale and just do a quick comparison.